He's a rock and roller CEO, this guy. He gets it done. I like it. So we had a little contest about who's
You've
biggest.
got to have a little bit of rock and roll. I'm a child of the 70s, grew up in the 80s. So you know what? It is rock and roll all the time for me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor New Year's Eve World Exclusive Special. And I really mean a world exclusive because we've just got some recent data in just in the last few minutes. Today, we're talking to the CFO and the CEO of GRRR, ticker symbol GRRR. We've been covering this stock now for about 3 weeks or so. And we're very proud to say that we rank number one on the first 2 pages, number 1 to 10, number 1 to 10 on page 1 and 2 of the video section of Google. This is great. Our investors are all here. This is a members only stream at the moment, but by the time we finish this and add some polish to the audio, it will go out to the general public later on this morning, and then there'll be different shorts taken from it in different segments. But this is live right now, unedited, unscripted. I've had Jay and Bruce in the chat with me behind the scenes for the last half an hour. We've just been having a chat, getting to know about the guys themselves. It's been quite fun, actually, because I know you all know and you all appreciate how sexy my hair is. Well, I've got someone here today who has even more of a sexy hairstyle, a bit of a rock and roller, not quite as, not quite the same as being the world piano man, but you'll get to find out all about him in a few minutes. I love it. We've got a great CEO, a great CFO with lots of passion, lots of excitement, and that's what it's about. My investors want to know what they're buying. They want to know the people that run the business, because at the end of the day, an investor buys the people. That's what you're investing in. Because if GRRR has a great product and it's this amazing thing, but the people that work there haven't got a clue, and we know plenty of businesses like that, they won't be around for very long. We don't want that. We're looking for great businesses with great futures that we can invest in. And that's what we do here on the channel. We bring you world exclusives, live, unedited, unscripted events. And that's what today is all about. So I know we are in members mode at the moment, but I am talking to the general public in an hour or so. So please do tap the like button. If you do, get 100 likes, YouTube will share it out and will be suggested. And please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like to be a member of our channel, I will put the link in the chat because it will play later. You can be a member and then you won't miss these world exclusive events. And we've got a really big audience today, and this is great. All members, fantastic. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about GRRR technology. Now we're going to go right back to the beginning. We've got plenty of time. We are going to ring the bell in 25 minutes. We're going to see how the stock moves on the bell. We're going to keep it rock and roll and exciting. Very much rock and roll today because of Jay, our CEO, happens to do a bit of Guns N' Roses. You'll see it on the wall behind him. It was a bit like we shouldn't use the word. We don't have swearing on the channel, but it was a bit of a contest, a something contest this morning, because he showed me his signed Guns N' Roses poster, so I had to go and get my Elton John's jacket Elton wore in Candle in the Wind. So we've had a bit of that pre-show. But anyway, there you go. That was prior to the show. Right, let's get straight into it. What is a GRRR stock? All right, we're going to start nice and simple. If you've watched our full analysis, you'll know a bit more about it. And the CEO and CFO are going to go into much more detail. We're just going to introduce the company right now. GRRR engages in the provision of video intelligence, Internet of Things, security, edge AI data analytics, and operational technology. You know, when you walk through an airport and you go and you get your face scanned, you get a little bit of that with this. The company was founded by Spincer Koh in May 2001 and is headquartered in London, the United Kingdom. And we all know it is GRRR. Now then, we're not going to go down any more onto the under Robinhood. We don't need to. We got the real people here. But you can see how volatile. Let me just clear away the ticker just for a moment. How volatile the stock has been since the IPO. We had that big surge at the beginning. That was typical of the time, the way IPOs were. And then it sold off. People shorted the stock, took it down, and so on and so forth. And now we're starting to find support and build once again. As you can see, we've been going up ever since the last few weeks, doing very nicely. And there is the live position. Now then, let me share with you, because we're going to ask Jay all about this and our CFO all about this. You know, we did a report the other day on the stock, and it led actually to Jay calling in via his marketing company to call in and say some of those figures were wrong. And it's important. This show isn't just about bringing information. It's about education, entertainment, and everything else. We showed you this, and Jay's going to explain this in a few moments. This is a very respectable, reputable, professional style back-testing software. And we ran this, and you may remember at the time ago, and that can't be right. Back in, if you'd put in the S&P in 2022, $10,000, you would now have 13. That makes perfect sense. That's about right. But if you put $10,000 in GRRR technology, stand by for this, folks, you'd have 60,900,000. Give me the stock. I want to buy it. You can just hear Jay. You can hear Jay in the background laughing. He's laughing at that. We're gonna find out what that's all about. Now, this is important because this is the software that you're looking at. This is the things that you're reading, and you want to know. I don't understand it. What is going on? All right, we got some good analysis from the stock. Also, strong buy here from Seeking Alpha. It's very strong buy. But look at this. We will talk about this. A large amount of short interest, but 13% is not short squeeze territory. We need at least 20% and high volume. Remember, GameStop had 100% when it exploded. So we do have a short interest here, bringing the stock down. So it's more of a negative thing, really. And we want to shake that out. We want to find out why people are doing that. They probably don't understand what the business is really about. And that's why Jay and Bruce are here today. Look at the valuation, A+, growth, A, profitability is at D at the moment. Momentum is A+. And revisions is A+. Lots of good news here on the stock. So we're going to bring you all that. But right now, though, I'm going to introduce GRRR with a breaking news story. This has only been out a few minutes. Now, I apologize. It's small. It's the text on the screen. I'm going to read it to you. This is a disclosure, a press release just out literally 29 minutes ago. Maybe 45 minutes now. I'll just read it quickly for you, a couple of paragraphs, and I will let Jay and the team fill in all the blanks. But just to let you know what we've got here. GRRR is, and I'm reading this for the first time, GRRR is closing the year on a high note, securing 2 more contracts in Taiwan that pave the way for even greater success in 2025. The first is a pivotal project with the law enforcement sector, centered on deploying GRRR's AI-powered lawful interception and criminal investigation platform. This groundbreaking project demonstrates GRRR's ability to harness artificial intelligence to empower agencies with intelligent data-driven tools that enhance public safety and streamline operational efficiency. I will let the team go more into that in a few moments, but that has just come out, some breaking news here on GRRR. So now, before I bring in Jay and Bruce, this is a quick look at the team here. You can see Jay. See what I mean about the hair? See what I mean about the hair? Yeah, there he is, look. I used to have hair like that. And look what happened. It all fell out. I hope he doesn't take care of it too much, because that's what happens. Anyway, why GRRR? Why should you invest in GRRR? What's it all about? Well, GRRR Technology specializes in delivering AI-driven IIoT solutions with a strong emphasis on security, convergence, network defense, video analytics, and big data analytics. Just going to touch on it briefly. I want to share with you this video I thought was very nice. I liked when I first came into the channel. I thought, I like this. Let me have a quick look at this. Here we go. In today's hyper-connected world, where every second counts, seamless communication is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. From critical data transfers to global video conferences, the demand for instant, reliable connectivity has never been higher. However, as network grows more complex, the challenges intensifies. The question is how you can network not only keep up, but stay ahead. Simplify connectivity, amplify productivity. GRRR Intelligent Network Director, a smart way to secure, simplify, and supercharge your network. Traditional networks are stuck in the past, slow, difficult to manage, and riddled with vulnerabilities. As business scale and evolve, they are held back and unable to meet the demands of a dynamic digital world. Managing on-premises data centers while integrating public and private clouds becomes a labyrinth of complexity. But what if there was a way to cut through the complexity and put your business back in control? Enter Intelligent Network Director, next generation software, defined WAN platform that transforms how you manage your network. This is not just an upgrade. It's a total reimagination of what your network can achieve. effortlessly. Negative. This is very fast, Jay. I'm trying to keep up with this. It's like I can't keep up with it.
Listen, Martin. Let me explain that to you
I
later
will
in the
let
show.
you. I will let you.
Yeah.
I will let you. Stand by. Don't worry. There we go. There's a bit of introduction on this company. This is pretty exciting, right? But I couldn't keep up with that. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Let's bring the man in himself, the CEO of GRRR. Let me bring him on the screen. Welcome to the channel. Give a big warm welcome. Put a big lot of love in the chat. We have Jay, the CEO of GRRR. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon here. I'm absolutely fine. Thank you. A little bit jet lagged. Long flight yesterday, but I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Loving the hair. We talked about it earlier. See the Guns N' Roses folks behind. Look, signed picture. He's a rock and roller CEO. This guy, he gets it done. I like it. So we had a little contest about who's
you've
biggest.
got to have a little bit of rock and roll. I'm a child of the 70s, grew up in the 80s. So you know what? It is rock and roll all the time for me.
Absolutely. So we've just given a small introduction there to GRRR, but I know you've got some great news to share today, just news out, and we've got some questions. Our members are going to call in a minute and ask them directly to you.
Sure.
But tell us, because even though we've just shown people that video and we've shown a bit of the information, it's still difficult for people to understand exactly what the business does. So from your lips to the world, tell us, Jay, what do you do?
Well, it's a great prelude to our introduction. So GRRR, I mean, as you know, we've just put out some news about 45 minutes ago. We've secured two landmark contracts. Now, a lot of people are already asking what that means, right? And these contracts actually, for us, it's very transformative because the first one is in the law enforcement sector. We are deploying our AI-powered lawful interception and criminal investigation platform. This is huge for us because this is going to be our third implementation in the 5G segment. As I told previously, we were the first people on the planet outside of China to do a full-fledged 5G LI implementation for the government of Taiwan. Now, this project not only demonstrates our capabilities, we're able to harness our artificial intelligence power to empower agencies so that they can create intelligent data-driven tools to enhance public safety. The second project, on the other hand, is completely the other side of the spectrum. This is a cloud-based IMS network, where we're talking about critical interception standards and certification. So GRRR actually not only does the implementation, we're also doing the certification for the end customer, which is a large telecom partner. Now, you talked about what GRRR is. I think there's what we call a misconception, a misunderstanding about what GRRR is and who it is. Right at the core, GRRR is about bridging the gap between what we call data and intelligence. Now, what we do is we create smarter, safer, more efficient environments for governments, enterprises, and communities. Now, there's a lot of curiosity amongst people. I read all the boards, I read the messages, Webull, Yahoo, StockTwits. Everybody seems to have a different conception about what we do. Some of them are quite negative about the business and so on and so forth. So let me explain to you what we actually do. We're not just a software company. We're not just a hardware manufacturer now, and we're not just a service provider. We are all of them brought together in one cohesive solution. We call this a platform as a service model. It combines our software, our hardware, and our services to deliver end-to-end solutions to the customer. Now, what do we call this? We call this the one throat to choke principle. Now, instead of dealing with multiple vendors, our clients basically want to partner with us. They want to ensure that everything works seamlessly so that we can take the full accountability. And this is important because when you're building a smart city and you're trying to kind of operate silos across the broad spectrum of your business or your agency, you're talking about a variety of key areas. Now, we simplify that and put them in what we call as three different silos or three different verticals. The first one is intelligence and big data. The second one is IoT and infrastructure. And the third one is security and convergence. Now, these three pillars allow us to work across different industries, including government, manufacturing, telecom, retail, logistics, ports, airports, and beyond. Now, let me just simplify that a little more, right? In big data and data intelligence, what do? We build tools which are for predictive modeling, demand forecasting, smart city solutions. And what do these governments do? For example, they use our AI driven analytics to optimize city operations. They help manage workflows, traffic flows, ensure public safety, and provide real time insights. That is very key for us because we've got two types of software, one offline and one online. The second one is our IoT infrastructure. What we do is we include that kind of includes our entire smart devices, edge AI, air gap networks, and including data center design. For a small company of our size, we actually can design, deploy, and manage the operations of an entire data center. We're actually building 3 data centers currently in the MENA region for our current project, which is pretty huge for a company of our size. Finally, security, right? We talk about security convergence. Now, again, I want to clarify the misconception. We are what we call bringing or integrating the physical security to the cybersecurity. Now, what we do is we put these two together and build a compliance into a unified platform together. Whether it's protecting smart buildings, securing data for governments, managing your security operations center, SOCs as we call them, we build a very robust pillar today. And what we have is we have 34 patents across AI, IoT, and cybersecurity. We've launched our Gorilla Intelligent Network Director. I'll talk to you a little more in detail about it. But that is for us transforming the $40 billion SD-WAN market today. We've also unveiled our own AI GPUs. I've heard a lot of people come and tell me, Martyn, this is interesting. Oh, you seem to be doing a lot. We're not. We're not. We're actually engaged so that we can have full-scale deployments across a single institution or an entity. What it allows us to do, it allows us to build our hardware, software, and our services together in what I call the platform as a service. Again, talking about the one throat to choke, and that's very exciting for us. I'm very excited to share that we've not just launched the products. With our AI GPUs, we're currently engaged in 2 very significant proof of concepts in Thailand. We're showcasing our immense potential of these GPUs with full scale, hopefully, which will turn into full scale deployments, which will be on the horizon in 2025. And we will be able to redefine the AI processing capabilities within the Asian region. Secondly, since we're already manufacturing our hardware, our consumer premise equipments in Thailand, along with our SD-WAN, we're creating what is called as a next generation connectivity. So we're actually working on 7 large POCs for the CPE, which are currently under the way. And I think over the next between 25 and 26, we're anticipating signing at least 4 or 5 of these so that we can have additional success going forward. That's Gorilla in a nutshell, Martyn.
That is fantastic. I have to say, you sound extremely passionate and full of energy on a New Year's Eve day. And I love it. I'm really excited. And I know my investors my audience and investors and the family, the Lucasades, are equally excited. I can see in the chat, they're all here. They're loving it. I've got a few questions and I will go to the audience later, but I've got some of my own. While we're doing this, folks, we have 2 polls running today, one right now and one at the end. Bit of a surprise for our CEO and CFO. I'll be bringing Bruce in shortly. This is our first poll, and I'm going to share with you on the screen. I'd like you to take part in these polls. These are live polls happening right now, and we always like to surprise you with this. Jay, you're going to like this. Trust me, it'll go okay. Well, it might go okay. I can't say. Here is the community tab. It's on our homepage of our channel. It's a poll right now. And as you can see, there's the link in the chat. For those watching later, it's the community tab and the link is below in the description. But is this a buy, hold or sell for you or undecided? 64% so far say buy. That was before the event started. Let me refresh the screen. 22 votes has now moved to 55 votes. And we've got 49% say buy, hold, only 9% say sell, and 16% are undecided. Now, at the end, we'll do this and we'll see if you've learned anything from us, from GRRR today, and if your opinion has changed and how they performed. It's always a nice little thing we like to do. You never know what's going to happen, though, Jay. You never know what's going to happen, but it's live and it's real, and you should get real engagement from our audience. Okay, so why GRRR? First of all, where did that name come from?
Well, back in the day when Spincer Koh created the company, he was talking about, how a gorilla is the most powerful animal within the room. We talk about the 800-pound gorilla, and and gorillas are calm, quiet, very composed, and very intelligent.
I
And that's
like
how
it.
it came out. And we've been in AI, by the way, for 18 years. Not many people know about that as well.
Right, of course, because companies, trade before they're public. You went public and everything then changed, right? Okay, so
Yes.
one of the things I want to ask you is on the show a few weeks ago, we had another company called Mobix, and they are a 5G company and they do partnerships. And it sounds like you two sort of could possibly be connected, because what they were looking at, and it sounds to me what you're doing, is you've got GPUs, you've got hardware, right? And we were talking recently. We're trying to link up with I forgot his name now, the CEO of Nvidia, trying to get him on the show. And one day we're going to need all. Yeah, thank you, Jensen Huang. Yeah, thank you. At some point, we're going to need all this data to also be wireless, right? Now, is that something that you do right now, or would that be something perhaps you're looking at in the future, or partnering with Mobix or Nvidia?
We've been doing it for 10 years already. And the 5G has only helped us accelerate our capabilities over the last 4 years now. Our first 5G LI actually came by live in 2021.
Good, cool, very, very cool, because that's clearly the future there, isn't it? Because when we've got all this data and all this information, and it becomes more residential. Like we talk about Nvidia because it has these big data centers and or enterprise business, but at some point, people at home are going to start buying. I mean, I know people buy Nvidia chips for their computers, but as our homes become smart, you're talking about smart cities. I mean, yes, we've got Hue lights and we've got our Alexa, whatever. But as things get more and more smart, if you like, wireless connectivity is going to be the thing. So that's something that you already do.
We already do. We are working across multiple sites. We're working with remote workforces. We're doing cloud applications, all while trying to keep the network, secure, fast, and reliable. That's important for us.
Okay, I do believe that you have some partnerships with, and tell me about these: Intel, Red Hat, Dell, and Cisco. Because everyone likes to know who you partner with, who your customers are right now, so it gives them a sense of what they're buying when they invest in your company. Can you tell me more about those partnerships?
Absolutely. So, see, again, a lot of people talk about, hey, you've got to go partner with that one, this one. It's very easy for people to talk, right? You understand what I'm telling you. But our partnership, for example, Broadsat Technologies, is a game changer for us. Why? Because together we're delivering smart connectivity and cybersecurity solutions, which are addressing what we call the increasing demand for secure, reliable, and scalable digital infrastructure. Now, our partnership, our collaboration, if I may, with Broadsat is very unique because we are using their connectivity expertise and pairing that with our Gorilla's AI expertise and cybersecurity expertise to create what we call transformative solutions, especially across governments and enterprises. But that doesn't stop that. You talked about these big names, right? Intel, Cisco, Red Hat, Halo, Syntrones. Who else have we partnered with? CS Energy, Thames Freeport, ACOM. People have been asking me about ACOM online, NCTG, MCS, Protactis, and Lanner, of course, which is one of our closest partners. These partnerships we've created not just for the sake of creating those names. We've carefully chosen them because we want to amplify our strength and their strength together, right? And accelerate what we call an innovation pipeline. Because you mentioned something at the beginning of this. If we cannot innovate, we'll be dead, we'll be extinct. Second, now, if I'll give you some examples. With Intel, we're pushing our boundaries of AI with our self-branded GPUs powered by Intel's Gaudi infrastructure. I think you mentioned that on your show previously as to how we are kind of creating a difference within the market. Now, with Cisco and Red Hat, it's a completely different relationship. We're revolutionizing and what we call the secure intelligent network solutions. We're already working with them on the MENA project, and we're actually now, I think, ahead of schedule in terms of delivery. With ACOM and NCDG, based out of Miami, we're creating large transformative smart city projects in the region of Latin America and United States. Now, keep your eyes peeled. In about a week or so, there's some exciting news that'll be coming out in the future. At the same time, with Leonard, for example, and Synchronous, we are developing our edge hardware so that we can then build the next generation of IoT and infrastructure needs. Remember, the market's moving very fast, Martyn. It is so fast, we're finding it very difficult sometimes to even keep up. More importantly, hiring the right amount of people and right type of people as well. And then finally, if you look at the whole market is talking also about sustainability and things like renewable energy. And that's why we created our partnerships with CS Energy, with Thames Freeport, and so on. So again, if you look at it, these are not just partnerships. It is about delivering end-to-end value for your customers. So think about, protection of your data centers, protection against cybersecurity, creating groundwork for enhanced safety, smart cities, and more importantly, creating a vision for what we call the sustainable future. So for us, it's not just about partnerships, Martyn. It's about creating engines that will drive Gorilla's mission and vision forward, but also create a sustainable environment going forward for the world.
See, I like that. That shows much more understanding of what your business is, because you're right. Everyone does ask about partnership, because one of the questions that I was asked this question, because NVIDIA with Jensen Huang is rock and roll. He's a bit like you. He wears a leather jacket. Look, he's a rock and roll guy. And people very often, a lot of retail investors, they buy NVIDIA just because it sounds cool and it's got a current trend and everyone's following it, and you see it all over Reddit and StockTwits. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I never spend my time in those places, because it's people just creating nonsense, FUD, full of rubbish, shorting stocks, talking rubbish, making up nonsense, and all the rest of it. But however, people do love the fact when you tie yourself or link yourself in some way to NVIDIA. So that was one thing that someone asked me, is there a way that Gorilla could partner with NVIDIA? I know you've just talked about, what partnering means to you, but that is something that people do ask a lot.
If I may, we've been an NVIDIA partner since 2014. Just go to NVIDIA's website, you'll find us there. We just don't talk about it. We have been working on NVIDIA GPUs.
I think you should talk about it. People would love it.
8 to 10 years. I mean, if you look at one of our implementations, without giving you the name, with one of the large police organizations in the world, we actually used NVIDIA GPUs and high performance compute for the police department across the entire city of about 22 million people. Okay. Yes, we've worked with NVIDIA. We've got our own partnerships with them. In fact, we are extending that, and we're going over and beyond that as well. But again, for us, it's about serving the underserved market. So, Martyn, everybody's running after these big markets and thinking that, hey, why can't I go do big projects in the United States and I'll be more successful? What about the underserved market?
Yeah.
People don't look at Latin America.
No.
Right? Some parts of Africa, there's a lot of growth going on. Look at Kenya, South Africa.
I'm going to cut you off for a second, only because we're about to ring the bell in 10 seconds. We've got to cover the bell live. Hold that thought. We're going to go to your stock. We're going to ring the bell. There it is. We've got just a few seconds to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gorilla is moving again. The bell has gone.
I love it.
Fantastic. Let's have a quick look at the market, see what's happening. We'll be right back to Jay. Hold that thought. Here we go. The markets are moving. We are still in a Santa rally because of the yields at 4 o'clock this morning moved, and we saw that happen. The Santa rally is still on, and Gorilla is up. You can see it's up now 9.95. Let's go quickly across the board and see what's moving. Here we go. Let's go have a quick look. The overall portfolio is up. S&P is up. S&P Global is up. Virgin Galactic is up today. Palantir is up today. It's a nice green day across the board. Amazon, Apple, NextEra Energy, Enphase up today. Coca-Cola, J&J, CVX, Tesla, Rivian is up today. McDonald's is up at 0.26. Google is pretty much flat today. Microsoft, Nvidia is up, just pulling back right now. We've got Walmart up today slightly, 0.25%. Fantastic, looking really great. Tilray Brands is flat. Robinhood is up, heading towards that $40 again. IonQ is up as we now move into Bitcoin. Bitcoin today is up 3.8. XRP is up 5.92. And once again, coming back to Gorilla, we're still holding up very nicely today, 9%. Absolutely awesome stuff. There we go. We want to make sure that we catch the opening bell. Even with a live interview, we got to cover it all as it happens here live. All right. Thank you for your understanding, Jay. We'll just come back to you now. There we go. Everything's going well today. Yes, you're right. Underserved markets. That was one of my next questions. Talk to me about that. That's so important because, as you say, people are always about partnering with NVIDIA. It's big, it's sexy, it's rock and roll, it gets headlines. They also then talk about the United States. But of course, there's a whole world out there and there are underserved markets. And that leads me on to your growth this year. 222% growth in the first half of 24. Why and what comes next? And talk to me about the emerging markets.
Oh, absolutely. Let me kind of, continue on the emerging markets topic, right? If you look at Asia, I mean, we're talking about 1.5 billion people in India. The rest of Southeast Asia got another billion people there, right? We're talking about data centers being built. There's a lot of data that's being created and consumed on a day-to-day basis. And there's a lot of cybersecurity threats which are evolving on a day-to-day basis in that region. So when you ask me about what the underserved markets are, they're actually much larger than the other markets which are, present, available for us today. So my job is to make sure that my marketing dollars go as far as possible. For me, every dollar I invest, I want to make 8 back. So we keep it very efficient, we keep it very effective, but more importantly, we make sure that our marketing dollars are well spent. Now, we talked about what we did last year in terms of numbers. Now, if you look at our 2022, we were 22 million or something like that, and then we went up to about 64 million. But what people have not recognized is that we went from an 87 million net loss in 22 to a 19.9 million net profit in 23. Sorry. This year, we will be net income positive. Next year, our net income will be between 20 and $25 million. That is not, that's unheard of, Martyn. Okay, we're not just talking about...
Congratulations, by the way. You just obviously work hard for that. You deserve it.
Well, I spend about 270 to 300 days on a plane in a year. Most people don't realize that as well. It's quite crazy. In fact, I just came back last night.
I know when I was setting up this call with you, when we were talking to you, and you said you were a far out remote location.
There's a lot of stuff happening. Keep your eyes peeled. January is going to be very important.
I'm excited. On that note, what we're going to do, please. What we're going to do now, we've done the members exclusive first half of the interview. We're now going to go general public. So watch all the people come in. Be careful, get lots of trolls now. You know what this is like. All right, we're live internet. So we're going to bring in the general public now. So members, we're about to welcome the world in as we go general public to the second half of our interview. You talk about patents, as you say, patents, wherever you come from. 29 patents, I believe. Is there more than that now? I was researching.
Well, it is 29 granted, 34 all in all.
Ah, lovely. Thank you. Now, one thing I want to ask is the stock seems to be undervalued at the moment. A lot of short interest, a lot of nonsense on Reddit and those places. They see something like this and they try to knock it down. That's the way things go in the world, I'm afraid. How do you feel about the stock price being so, in our opinion, looking at it, undervalued? And how do you feel that you can help there? I know I've done some research and it appears that you're doing buybacks, which everyone appreciates, as the investors love that. Tell me more about your plan there to work on the stock price and also the buyback strategy you have.
I would like Bruce to lead into that particular response. Bruce.
Okay, let's bring Bruce in. Bruce, let me just see. Bruce is his camera might have frozen. I'm going to see if it's still there. Bruce, oh, there he is. Good stuff. I just muted you. Would you like to answer that question for us? You just muted yourself. There you go. Bruce, would you answer that question about the buyback plan? Please welcome our CFO to the show and what your thoughts are there to become, how you can become more profitable and how we can move the stock price. Can you hear me, Bruce?
Sure. So the focus remains, first of all, on executing on the fundamentals of the business. Yeah, I hear you fine. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you very much. Carry on. It's all good.
Yeah. So the focus remains on executing on the fundamentals of the business. So that is securing contracts, profitability, cash flow. So the guidance for 2024 is 70 to 74 million of turnover, gross margins 40% and above. That is obviously an improvement on the previous year, 2023. The guidance for next year is 90 to 100 million of revenue, and we're very committed to that number. Hopefully, we have good news to announce in the future. 40% gross margins, and then also EBITDA margins of 20% or higher. So we think that the first step is to build a sustainable business where we're winning contracts, business is growing, generating cash. Second thing is when we have excess cash, we return it to shareholders. So over the summer, we found ourselves in a position where we had excess cash, beyond what we needed to fund the growth in the business. And we decided to return it to shareholders by initiating a buyback program. We authorized a $6 million buyback program. We spent 3.8 million. So we have 2.2 million more available with which to buy back the stock. We are quite positive on the company's fundamentals, as you heard Jay talking about. We're quite positive on generating cash in the business. And then the last thing is that we have an active program to generate more cash in the business through other means. One is we own a property in Taiwan. The valuation we received is $27 million, and we're in the process of selling that asset. So hopefully when we sell that asset, that will do, one is, that will generate close to 27 million of proceeds for GRRR. And then we'll have cash with which we can either fund growth in the business, we can pay down debt, or if we decide that the share price is still undervalued, then we can expand the buyback program or return it to shareholders in another way. So we find that everything really proceeds from the fundamentals of the business by executing properly, winning contracts, generating cash. That generates excess cash in the business, then we return it to shareholders where it makes sense.
Thank you very much. Got a question here, and it can be for you, or if you'd prefer for Jay to answer it. Jay talked recently about developing quantum cybersecurity in a recent podcast. How much priority is given to the development of this, and how significant will it be for the company going forward?
I think that's over to Jay. He's the expert.
Okay. I like that. Okay, wonderful. Jay, what's your thoughts on that?
Sure. See, GRRR is deeply committed to staying at the forefront of innovation in cybersecurity. Quantum is just one part of that. But most people don't realize this. We've been actually in collaboration with InfoSec Global, one of the leaders in post-quantum cryptographic solutions. Now, this partnership was not just a significant milestone, but also about GRRR coming together and building its entire ecosystem when it comes to post-quantum, resilient, future-proof cybersecurity infrastructure. What people also do not know is that we are actually currently deploying a post-quantum agile sec analytic product for the current MENA project, which we're currently working on. This is part of the large infrastructure project which we secured a couple of years ago. Now, along with that, we have also provided a significant budget to our CTO to build an R&D team. Now, we have 3 R&D teams, one in Taiwan, one in India, and one in Egypt, which is small, but it's expanding quite rapidly. What we are doing is we're using some of the personnel from Taiwan and in India to work alongside with InfoSec so that we can create the next level of co-developing and enhancing the products through combined R&D efforts. Once we're completed, we are going to be deploying the world's first fully post-quantum ready enterprise within the Southeast Asian region. And this is for the project which we recently have secured. We're going through contracting currently, and hopefully once that is done over the next, whatever, 35 to 60 days, we should be able to kind of tell the market what we are actually doing when it comes to post-quantum cryptographic solutions. So for us, it's about proactively investing in quantum resistant cryptography, making sure that we can protect our clients' data, our systems, and prevent any sort of futuristic attacks onto that. So for that, our partnership with the InfoSec is actually a testament to our commitment to security excellence.
Thank you for that. Great answer. Great answer. Got a question here from Derek, who's one of our members. He brought us the stock. He told us all about GRRR. We didn't know anything about it until he told us. So thank you, Derek. Yeah. I hope you're in the chat today. But he asked, how much more work can the company handle with the current human capital? Will the Southeast Asia project stretch you very thin, or is there room for more additional projects?
Okay, so Derek, great question. Good to meet you. I've seen some of your questions. It's very impressive, your diligence on the business. So let me explain to you. I think by way of background, I've been an entrepreneur. The last company I built, we went from literally zero to more than 15,000 employees in under 18 months. So I have the skill set of actually raising and hiring people at a very rapid rate. To support that growth, we've actually hired a very strong HR team, a global HR team, as you've seen from our website. The current projects are all being supported. We have some level of flexibility to add on smaller projects, not large projects. Anything like the ones in Southeast Asia, the one in the United States, and so on, will require additional manpower, but we've budgeted for that. And that's why Bruce is working very actively to make sure that we are cash rich and that our cash flow remains steady with these new projects coming in. So in terms of giving you a very concrete response where we are today, we're fully, our human capital is pretty much on target in terms of delivering maximum efficiency. The new hires will come through over the next few months. As you've seen that India is expanding, Taiwan is expanding, so is Egypt. We will be hiring a lot more people in Thailand as well. I think we should be going to about 150 to 200 people in Thailand as well at the same time.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that answer, and thank you, Derek, for that question. Derek, you did ask me several questions, but I've actually worked them in to the conversation, and Jay has answered them without me having to actually ask them directly. They've already been answered. If there's anything else you want covered, please come back to me, and I will do so. Now, I think this is probably one for Bruce. I want to get to your thoughts on this. It's very, very important. We have some very small and very large retail investors watching our show, and we all use different software platforms to gain information about a business. We like to do our analysis and all this kind of stuff. And as I've explained before, that most of these platforms, they have a pool of information they go to, but they all have different subscription levels. They all get different bits of information, and the way a company reports itself also is what it will provide a certain amount of information to those platforms, and it's not always completely accurate. And it was really great that I did analysis on your business, and you contacted me and said some of these figures were wrong. Could you update it? And I did an update and analysis and so on and so forth. And it's important for people to understand, and it's great that we have you here so we can get you to explain and why this might happen. And before the show started, Jay was explaining to me how these things can occur. So I just want to share this with everybody, and then perhaps Jay might want to answer this, or Bruce might want to answer this. This is some backtest software that we did, and we looked at the stock, and it said if you put $10,000 back in January of 22 into the stock, you would have 10,000 would now be 13,000 in the S&P 500. That makes sense. But if you'd invested in GRRR, you'd now have 60 60,900,000. And obviously I looked at that at the time and I thought that doesn't add up with what the company's actually doing. And it confuses people. Now, it's not that I'm getting it wrong or this is wrong. It's the way it's reported. So a little bit of education now. I think it's probably best if we go to Jay, our numbers man, probably best. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Bruce. Would you like to answer that, Bruce, for us? Why this happens and explain why that's happening? Thank you.
I can't speak to all of the details for why that is, but I think there are two major factors. The first is that the company was originally a SPAC, so a special purpose acquisition company. And then the SPAC was created and then Guerrilla Technology merged into the SPAC. So I think that some of the accounting around how that merger happened would distort the figures. The second thing is that the company's stock price declined and then we did a reverse split. So, 10 shares became 1 share. So some of the data probably is distorted because, they're giving you the benefit of 10 shares instead of 1. So that's what I would assume happened. Like imagine you had a stock that's 30 cents one day and it goes to $3, right? Or in our case, it was $1 one day and then it went to $10. So that's probably what's boosting the returns.
There was something else we talked about at the beginning as we were setting up, something to do with how you report, whether you report monthly, quarterly.
Yes.
There's some issues there as well.
Yes. So also what happened is a lot of these are driven by software that scans SEC filings. Guerrilla reports as an FPI, a foreign private issuer, which has a bit of a different format than your average listed company. So we think that some of the data, wasn't tracking properly, and thus it wasn't feeding into the systems correctly as you would for a normal kind of SEC reporting company. I can say that, first of all, the public filings that we do with the SEC should be the one source of truth for any investor looking at us. That has, by definition, the accurate official figures. And then investors can also take comfort from the fact that we will announce the fourth quarter and full year results in March. And then we will be reporting quarterly starting from the first quarter of 2025. So you'll get, instead of 2 times a year, you'll get it 4 times a year. The other thing that we've done in the last few months is we're doing videos like this, webinars, etc., more often, so that we're more in touch with the market. You can ask questions like this and get the answers in real time. And we'll be doing that in the future. And then in January, we were discussing this before we got on the call. We'll be doing an update press release for investors that will answer some of the questions that we get during, in the intervening weeks, and to give solid answers that everyone can refer to.
Great. Thank you very much for explaining that. That really will help our investors understand how this works. So thank you very much indeed. I'm going to come back to Jay. We're going to go to another poll in a few seconds. In fact, I'm going to release a poll right now. So let me do this poll and then I'm going to come back to Jay. So first of all, let me go over to my poll here. We had 55 votes and is it a buy or hold or sell for you? 49% said buy. Let me now do it. Now it's 50% say buy, 74 votes there. Look, so a hold, only 11% sell. That's very encouraging. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release a new poll. And this is an important poll because it gives me an indication of what you think you learned today from our guests from Guerrilla. I think they've given in fact, I'm not going to give you my opinion. I think you can tell I'm very excited and passionate about this, but I'm going to give you now a second poll. We'd like you to, this hasn't gone live right now. And the question is, do you feel more bullish after hearing from the CEO and CFO? Do you feel more bullish now? You've learned a few more things. You've learned what the business does. You've learned that actually it's been around a lot longer than you may have thought it's done. You may have learned now that it does have a partnership. I know some of you really find that quite sexy and cool, that it has a partnership or it does business with NVIDIA. You've learned about that. You've learned how to report more accurately using the information that we've got, and so on and so forth. You've learned more about the buybacks. We've just given you another new contract only signed now. Now it'll be about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Lots of more information, cash positive, cash rich, and all of these things. So now I'm going to ask you the question, do you feel more bullish after hearing from the CEO and CFO today? So I'm going to post this right now. There you go. It's brand new poll, just gone live. So there it is. I'm going to give it my usual thumbs up. There it is. I'll give everyone the link, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes' time, and we will see what you feel. Do you feel more bullish today or bearish on what you've heard today? Will be interesting to see and how that's gone today. All right, let me come back to Jay. And I think we've covered all the questions that were sent in. We talked about the buybacks. That's been explained today. Let me go over to the live questions. Now, we're going to switch back to members only mode now. I know we are publicly being watched, but only members can ask questions. Let me go back to members only questions. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask directly on the screen, you can right now. With members only mode, if you've already asked it in the chat, please repeat it because I won't see it. Ask it again, and then we'll ask Jay or Bruce your questions. All right. So I'll just have a quick look up and see if we've got anything. Here we go. Sensei. This is our technician, our chart technician. Will you be able to... right, he's kind of asking a loaded question. He's saying, will you be able to ask a question on the earnings call? Jay, let me tell you about that. You know, we cover all the earnings for all the stocks that we cover. And a few weeks ago, we had an historic moment. It was the first for YouTube. We had the CEO of Mobix on the show. And I asked him this question, the same cheeky, you never know what you're going to say answer, unscripted, unedited. I said, it'd be really great if Fabrizio, that's his name, he's the CEO of Mobix. I said, Fabrizio, it'd be really great, as we do rank number one for your stock, if I could have a question on the earnings call. And I went through all the legal wranglings that you have to go through, have your questions approved. And I was actually on the call alongside, I wasn't just covering the call, I was on the call next to the banks and institutions, and it was a blow-up moment on our channel and everyone loved it. And it was a bit of history. I think we're the first financial YouTube channel to call in on an earnings call next to the institutions and banks. So of course, I'm not going to hold you to this, but I'd love to be able to call in on your call and ask a question. And of course, we would cover it, and the investors.
Happy for you to be there.
Yes, fantastic! It's a big moment. Let me tell you, Mr. Guns N' Roses. 4 years ago, right? I spent 30 odd years touring as the world piano man, right?
Metallica and a Megadeth guy.
And all right now, okay, all right. You're making it even worse now. Anyway, listen, and I built this channel. And I was a musician, my own Vegas show, all these things. And I've never done this before, world of finance and investing. And we have all these ambitions, and they're all coming true. We want to get the biggest channel in the world and all these things, interview Elon Musk, interviewing you today. And I said, wouldn't it be great to be on an earnings call? And we've done the first one. And now you've heard it directly from the CEO. I'm going to be on the next one. This is great. At some point, I'm going to be on a Tesla earnings call as well. So then I'm going to be flying in a rocket. Then I'm going to live on Mars. And then I'm going to take you and your guitar. And I think Bruce plays a little bit as well. And we'll do a gig. We'll do a gig on a SpaceX mission or something like that. You got to dream big, right?
You got to dream big. Absolutely.
Yeah. But more importantly, you got to live it, not just dream it. Every day, get up, work harder than anyone else, and deliver it. I think we've learned a lot today about your company, but now I'm going to go to the viewers. So you heard it there. Sensei asked, will I be able to ask a question on the earnings call? Yes. So please do email me, keep in touch, how I can be on the call, and we will be all over it. We will be all over it. Sensei, great question. Could Martyn ask a question on? Yes, it's already done. It's already agreed, James 007. So here we go. Who are the biggest competitors? This is from CC, one of our members. Who are your biggest competitors? And do you see an increase in consolidation in your market? I.e., could we see buyouts in the sector? And are you looking at other companies? Interesting one. Is there any competitors to what you're doing? Sounds pretty unique what you're doing.
Well, in the mid-market space, and don't think of me as being too arrogant or cocky, Martyn.
That's all right. People blame me at that all the time. Don't worry about it. It shows confidence.
In the mid-market space, there is nobody no to compete with us.
There you
Okay,
go.
there was nobody, right?
I like
But
it.
there are competitors, and we do, look at them. For me, my first thing every morning, I look at what everybody else is doing, figure out what new technologies they build, and that's important for me because I need to know that I'm staying abreast of the technology. So if you look at, for example, smart city AI solutions, you've got the likes of what Siemens, IBM, Greencom, Itron, Huawei. You can't ignore Huawei. They're big in that space. Then you look at the likes of cybersecurity. You've got obviously Palo Alto, you've got Fortinet, you've got CrowdStrike, Darktrace, Cloudflare, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you've got to then take into account you're not just talking about cybersecurity. You're talking about edge computing. Of course, you've got the big boys, right? You've got Nvidia, Intel, and AMD, but then you've got Untether. Untether has come up with their own AI chips for inference tasks. Encharge. Then there's Grok. There's Scale Computing. I forget the CEO's name. And then you've got video surveillance, right? You've got Axis, Hikvision, Amarillo, and so on. And then finally, if you look at the whole IoT market, then you've got the likes of Cisco, PTC, Dahua Technology, you've got Slings, Spacetime, and all those guys. So my job is not just to make sure that Gorilla remains ahead, but is also to make sure as to where the technology is evolving, because everybody has got a different thought process. Every morning somebody wakes up and comes up with that eureka moment, and I want to be there when they actually do that. So that's why if you look at us, we thought in 2023 that quantum was going to be the most important when it comes to cybersecurity, and that's why we partner with InfoSec. And so we think, 5 years ahead from where we are today, and that's how we build our partnerships.
I love that answer. And never apologize for, perhaps appearing arrogant. You know what? That is the best answer I've had on the show because it shows confidence. When people first meet me, and I'm the first to tell you right now on the show, some people that don't know me, they watch the show the first time, go, I think he's arrogant, right? Well, they watch a couple of shows, then they become a member, and then they get it. There's a difference between arrogance and passion and commitment, right? If you're passionate and you work hard, and you work harder than anyone else, you always deliver and you always get the job done. That's what I do. It sounds like that's what you do. And you know what you do is good. But you're always looking at the competition. You're always trying to improve yourself. You don't go, okay, I'm the best, and now I'm just going to sit on my ass. That doesn't help anybody. You're always looking forward, and I love that. And it takes a bit of balls and honesty to say, this is what we do. I love it. Got a question here from Derek again, a huge shout out to Derek. Thank you so much. It was you who brought us this company, which we're now loving talking to the CEO and CFO on. Does the net income guidance of 20 to 25 million exclude the new contracts like the Southeast Asia project you just announced this morning?
I want Bruce to actually respond, but I will take the first half of that question. Yes, it does not include any of the. So I did make a statement in my last call. It does not include.
Okay.
I think I want to repeat myself. I hate repeating myself. Let me do this again. Our order backlog going into tomorrow, going into 1st of January is 93 million. Our projections are between 90 and 100 million dollars, which means effectively I'm telling you right now that my numbers for 2025 are done and dusted. All my focus on is to deliver. That's about it. I'm not running after contracts. I'm not running after revenue. I'm making sure that Bruce and I work hand in glove together very closely along with our HR team, our finance team, our admin team, our delivery teams, and our R&D teams to make sure that we are working cohesively and making sure we're able to hit that net margin. That's about it. That's our only job for 2025. My job for 2025 and beyond is to make sure that I'm able to get the pipeline even more larger than where it is. We've got a pipeline of $2 billion. It's great to talk about, I've got this big pipeline. For me, it's about converting. If I cannot convert, then I'm the biggest fool. So making sure that I can convert and be there to make sure that my 26 and 27 numbers are in my pocket. That's all I'm focused on.
I absolutely love that. And I'm going to tell you why I like that, because too many people are like looking at the analytics. Like for me, in my case, YouTube every day, looking at the numbers rather than concentrating on delivering the product, the service, and working to produce and be the best. Always spending time looking backwards at the numbers and what the project, what we're projecting, and so on and so forth. Focus on getting the job done. That's what's important. That's why people invest in you. I love this, and I'll tell you something that I was told by Elton John and Mark Cuban and many other successful either business people or entertainer people. Right? You are a musician as well, like me, and you are it. There's half of the brain, right? There's two sides of the brain. There's like the money side and the creative side. Very, very rarely both. Right? Because most creative people, like artists and stuff like that, they're a bit weird and crazy and bankrupt and living at home with their mum. They don't know how to make a business out of their creativity. All right. And then there are business people who are all money, and they're not very creative. They're just one or the other. It's very unusual to have someone who's really creative, passionate, but also business. Bring the two together and you get real energy and passion. And I can see a very similar personality in you. I like you. I think you're great. I think this bloke's brilliant. Exactly. Anyway, Bruce, Jay did say to bring you into this about the guidance there with the new contract. So maybe you can add some color, Bruce, to this. Thank you very much.
Yes, so the guidance, as we said, is based basically on the backlog, which is 93 million. So it doesn't factor in any of the contracts. Right now, what we have is really, we mentioned the Southeast Asia project. We've been shortlisted for it. The contract is not yet finalized, so we don't know when, we don't know if, we don't know, we don't want to incorporate that into the forecasts. So that is our relatively conservative approach to generating forecasts. Is we go based on essentially what is in order backlog or very close to that. Anything beyond that is not factored into the forecasts. The other thing I would say is that I mentioned the forecast and then some guidelines that we adhere to. So first of all the new contracts that we look at go through a vetting process. Obviously, the first is, can we do it? As you heard Jay talking about what we can do, what we can't do. The second is as a financial vetting. So it's not just about, can we do it, but is it worth doing? So it has to be a minimum size. So $2 million is the minimum size contract that we look at for a new relationship. Then it's about the gross margin. So 40% is our absolute floor, but we're moving that gradually higher as we can. And then the third thing we're looking for is a recurring element. So it's not just a build, hand over to the customer, thank you, we got paid once, but rather we're looking for something with a length of service or recurring element to it. Maintenance, service, an ongoing operational role, or a software component where they're paying us a license fee. So we're trying to not just steer the business to a higher revenue number, but also better margins, more longevity, and really to see a revenue pipeline for 26, 27, 28 with any contract that we're talking about now. And that's why we're willing to wait until we have that secured before we put into the forecasts. But hopefully that results in higher quality forecasts and a better company in the future.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Another great answer. Well, as we come to the end of our show, we're going to have final thoughts from our CEO and CFO. I think we've covered all the questions. There are a few more from Derek, but they are kind of repeating what we've already just found out, so I won't answer that again. So here is the moment you've all been waiting for. All right. Now, this is the moment. We do this live, unedited, unscripted. Is that right, Jay? We didn't predetermine any of these questions?
Absolutely.
Right, it's rock and roll here, mate, and we get the job done. I love it. Get the job done. All right, you can say something.
If I may, can I take a moment to say something? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely right.
Perfect. Well, I want to take a moment to speak directly, right, to all of our investors, retail, our institutional investors, and more importantly, our long-term supporters. Right. These are the people who've actually truly become a part of the Guerrilla journey. And over the last year, your unwavering belief for me has been quite staggering and nothing short of extraordinary. For me, you guys have created what I call a guerrilla cult. And I talked about this to Martyn earlier. This cult, which I'm seeing right now, and the fan following is absolutely amazing. And for that, I am deeply moved and eternally grateful. Now, your passion, your commitment, more importantly, the trust you have built in Gorilla and myself personally has been a driving force in everything we do, right? But truly, it has humbled me. I'll be honest, it has humbled me, and I am learning. And I followed by the way, stock to its Webull. It's bedtime reading for me. I do that on the flight. I have a 12-hour flight. I spend a lot of time reading and making sure that I'm responding, or at least adhering to what these guys are asking for, and what responding to them and letting them know that we are on the right track, right? Whether we shorted, whether people are trying to make a quick penny out of us, that doesn't really matter. The long term, we will win, right? Martyn was talking about this pre going live. It's all about making your sacrifices and making sure how we can deliver. So I have learned that some people are doing significant personal sacrifices, taking loans sometimes from family to invest in Gorilla. Let me say this from the bottom of my heart. I am incredibly honored by the faith you've shown in Gorilla and in me personally, but I also do really care about your well being. This is important for me because at any point of time you find yourself needing to prioritize paying off your loans, easing your financial pressures, and so on, I want you to know your well-being and your family stability is far more important for me than the size of your investment in Gorilla. Please never feel that stepping back in any way would disappoint me. It would definitely not. In fact, I would encourage to put your financial health and your family and your peace of mind first. That for me is a bigger gift and a source of my strength. Now, Gorilla for me is a journey. For all of us, it's a journey, and we're in it for a long haul. Whether you choose to stay with us as investors, whether you step back and focus on your personal priorities, you will always be part of the Gorilla story. And I promise you that we will work tirelessly to deliver results, build innovation, and make sure that this is a company where you've invested in and be very proud of. I want to do actually something, Martyn. I've I've taken to, and I want to mention a few people who I've followed and I think have created a lot of impact on Gorilla. One of them is a guy called Merkitos. I'm not going to give you his name. A special thanks to him for creating and running the GRR Discord channel. Hats off to him. He's done a great job. I love that guy. And then, of course, Robinhood, you great. Chester Stevens, Game On, Christian. I know you made a lot of money selling your your warrants. Congratulations. Last Kiss, Ikara book, Barbara. There's a guy called Nexi, Joe Ellerts, Alex 1 to 10. Got a beautiful number there. Then Jamion, Carnage Stocks, Ski Chick, and Green Hat. Ski Chick and Green Hat have been there since day one. So I want to thank every single one of you and for your support over there. And finally, here's to a year filled with growth, success, and new milestones for all of you and your families. Happy New Year.
I love it. Thank you very much. I love this. One of my best interviews. The passion, the commitment, and care about the investor. As you say, you're focusing on the product. I feel the same way with my audience. I have got the best job in the world. It's a privilege to be here. They're not subscribers. Being like you, musician, you've probably worked your audience. I've traveled 195 countries, which is, yes, every country of the world. I've been everywhere. And I've met millions of my audiences in concert halls and theaters around the world. And so I know that there's real people behind this camera lens, right? Most people that are on YouTube, 1 minute they're doing a regular job, next minute they get famous on YouTube. They don't realize there's real people sitting behind that camera. And as you as a CEO, know that people that you'll never meet investing in your company are putting their trust in you. And I understand how that feels like, and I love to hear you say that today. So I've got some good news for you, which is great. It worked out good. You never know what's going to happen because it is. I can't, change this. This is the poll, and the poll was: are you more bullish after what you've heard today, or are you bearish? Well, as you can see, 95% from what people have heard from you today. Love it. They are more bullish. That's a great result. So that's down to you and Bruce. They obviously, they're buying into you. They're interested in you, and the information that you provided makes them feel more bullish. We started at 50%. This new poll, after you've been on the show, 95%. So congratulations. You've obviously done very well today. It could have gone the other way.
No, thanks to you, Martyn. Thanks to you, Martyn. Well, listen, I'm always very bullish. I'm optimistic. Bruce and I work very well because of that. Bruce is more grounded, right? Keeps me on my toes, and more importantly, he brings me down to I keep flying at a 36,000 feet view. He brings me down and says, "Hey, this is reality. Let's focus on that. You've got to have two sides of the coin."
Absolutely right. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Absolute
I'm going to
pleasure.
let you give me the final word. But Bruce, if you just come back in 1 second and just talk to the investors, give them your final words here on the show. Thank you for taking the time, by the way, to being here. As you heard from Jay, he's Mr. Rock and Roll. You're the money man. You keep him grounded with all the good stuff. We love that. You can tell the difference. See, you can tell Bruce is much more. You can tell there with the look, the glasses. He's a lot more business-like. He's the money man, right? So tell me your final thoughts for the company, and just you're talking directly to the investors here today.
I've worked with Jay for many years, and he called me this summer and he said, "Oh, would you like to join as interim CFO, help us out?" And I said, "Yeah, I can start tomorrow." So it's always a pleasure to work with Jay, and one of the he's the main reason I'm here, and I think you guys can hear from him his passion, his energy. And really, I think that the company is been successful and will continue to climb to new heights because of him. So thanks for your support of the company. That's for all investors. And then, I hope you believe in Jay like I do.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay. Thanks for calling in to the show. And I'm just about to wrap up the video. Final thoughts.
Martyn, but if I can tell all your subscribers as well, I think, Martyn, you've been fantastic. A lot of people do not understand what it means for someone like yourself to host an event. I wouldn't call it a show, an event, right? It is tough. It's not easy. And I see you started out from $5,000 to make sure that everybody is successful. I personally would absolutely recommend you. I'm happy to have you on our our conference calls. I'm happy to do more shows with you, but I would recommend everybody to kind of talk to you and see if other CEOs wanted to be on your channel. I would absolutely, if you need me to recommend, I'm happy to recommend.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for that. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. Let's stay in touch so I can take part in that upcoming earnings call. That'll be great. That'll be a big event on our channel. People will love to see that happen. And I wish you all the very, very best of luck with your business. Thank you so much for your time, and get back to doing what you do. And of course, yes, you're going to say something. Happy New Year. Absolutely right. Happy New Year. We're very excited. And I love the fact that you were talking about the sustainability of everything, and what's good for the people and the planet and the business, the whole thing. It sounds really great. I'll be watching your business with great interest going forward. Jay, thank you for your time. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Everybody.
There we go.
Cheers.
Absolutely great. What a great interview that was. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Cannot wait to be on the call with the guys. Absolutely brilliant. Now then, going to open up the phone line to you. You can now be on the call. So do you want to call in and have your say online on the screen? Here we go. So everybody now, here is the link for you all. martynlucas.com/live. The password is LucasA's, uppercase L, uppercase A, just the same way as Jay and Bruce called in. Uppercase L, uppercase A, 100. If you want to call in, you have to be a member. You can be in these spots here. You can be in these spots all around the screen here. You can be in and you can have your say and talk about what you've just heard there. Give your reaction because they're still watching. They're still watching the show and they know what's going on. So if you want to come onto the screen now, I don't know if anybody does want to call in, but you can. The line is open for you to call in. It takes a few seconds, I know, for everyone because you're 30 seconds behind me to call in, but you can now call in. So I'm waiting to see if anyone calls in today. That would be absolutely fantastic. We'll give it a few seconds, allow everyone to call in. Douglas said, let me go back to here a minute. Douglas said, congratulations, Martyn. Great interview. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate that. Excellent interview and event. Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you very much, James 007. Great interview and HNY. Happy New Year. Sorry, feels like a full circle moment, Martyn. Nice. Sort of feels like a full circle moment. Isn't it great? Rock on Jay, the classic Kana. Awesome event, said Vanessa. Thank you for the Guerrilla Technology team. Very kind words. Go Guerrilla. Everyone loves it. Look at that fantastic interview, Martyn. Fantastic. Yeah, you do so well. You woke up the shorts. I love it. You got me sold, to be honest. Usman, loved it. One of my best interviews to date, Martyn. Thank you very much indeed. I'm now a buyer and a supporter. Fantastic. No one's calling in yet. Maybe you don't want to. That's fine. Excuse me. Jay seems like a good dude. I like what he is saying. I like this guy. It sounds like he has a good heart. I love it. Play us a song. I don't think Jay's going to play you a song. If Jay and Bruce are listening and you want to call back and play a song, the phone line's still open. Classic Carnut. We looked at that one. I think I've covered all of those. And down the bottom, let's have a look. Okay, we got here. GRRR stock was extremely overbought on the RSI. A pullback here is healthy and still bullish price action. I absolutely agree. Yes. Since the interview, no surprise, there's been some selling. That's expected because, yes, overbought. Now it trims. That's healthy. You're absolutely right to suggest that, Cedar. You're dead right there. Martyn, can you explain to me how Guerrilla can trade at these multiples? Unfortunately, the call has ended with them, so I can't put that question to them. Agreed. Great interview. Thank you so much indeed. Please do another event with Guerrilla Technology in the future. Well, you heard it. We will be doing another interview with them, and also I'm going to be on the earnings call. You heard it here first. We need Jensen Wang, I think you mean. All right, there we go. It doesn't appear that anybody wants to call in. So there we go. I think we're all done. Yep. We'll wrap this up. So you can see we got an event at the top screen in 10 hours and 11 minutes. I'll be talking to you about that later on. Very, very exciting. A video is coming out about that. The Santa Rally is most certainly back on again. No surprise there, because we had the bond rate change at 4 o'clock this morning. That was that big moment here, and it went up. Look, 4 o'clock this morning, boom, I was up buying more SNP. All Vanessa Griggs is calling in. Vanessa Griggs would like to be on the show, so let me put Vanessa in guest number 1. She wants to have a say about anything. It could be anything at all. Vanessa, let me just take the zoom down. How are you this morning? Vanessa, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm good.
Great to have you on the show. How can I help you?
I was just wanting to say that was an awesome interview. I mean, absolutely awesome. I'm in here trying to take down my Christmas tree because we have a thing where we say you don't take the old into the new year. So today is New Year's Eve, and so I have to get that everything down. So I was in here doing this, but it was so good. I was like, I have to call in and just congratulate you on a great interview. The questions, the way you handled it. I mean, you just make us proud. I mean, I'm serious.
Well, I do represent the Lucasades. We are a family. I'm just the voice of the family in front of a camera. But yeah, we are together because without you, we wouldn't have ranked number one on the first 2 pages of Google. The video wouldn't have been popular. People wouldn't have been here. So yeah, it's a team effort. It's not all down to me because 4 years ago, when I sat here doing exactly the same thing, I was talking to nobody. I was on no search engines. I was doing nothing. So the only thing that's changed is you lot have turned up. So it's got to be down to you, right? Each and every one of you play a part. Every single one of you plays a part. And there you go. I'm going to be on another earnings call, this time for GRRR. It's becoming a normal thing now. It's becoming normal. I'm on an earnings call again.
Well, I didn't want to pass up the opportunity. That's why I went on. I was like, okay, let me call in, even though I'm in here working, unscrewing the things that have batteries, because I always put my batteries up whenever I finish my Christmas, things that require batteries, because I found out if you do that, you don't have to keep buying new batteries. So I always take them out of whatever they're in.
That is correct. That is correct. But here's another little thing, another little tip from someone who knows a little bit about electronics. If you take a battery out of a product, you're right. It doesn't, because when it's in the product, it's still connected and it has a little bit of drainage. So it manages to keep the battery longer. However, batteries have an expiration date. And what happens is over time, as the cell breaks down and the voltage gets lower, when it gets below a certain level, it starts to leak, and then you always need to responsibly dispose of those batteries, even those that say they don't leak, and good quality batteries actually do after a period of time. So it's always important to remember that if you've got batteries stored in a cupboard forever and ever and ever, and you go back 10 years from now, don't be surprised if you see a little bit of leakage. It's not the end of the world, but it might damage your surfaces or whatever. It's just worth knowing. And if they are really big batteries, they can actually catch on fire. So it's always worth noting your batteries, disposing properly. But there you go, little tip for Christmas there, New Year. Are you excited for New Year?
I am. I really am. And I did pick up me some shares of GRRR. I was waiting to kind of see. So this was very good for me, because at first I was like, oh, everybody's running to it, and I don't want to just jump into something just because everybody's it's a hot thing at the moment. But just listening to him and kind of seeing what he was saying and what the questions you asked, and and even kind of doing some research myself, I was like, you know what? This is a good one, so I'm going to go on and get some. So I did, and I was fortunate, because one of the things I've learned being here with you all is that as I was watching, I saw it up really high, and I said, okay, I'm gonna wait. So I waited, and when it got down to a good sale, I just got me my after Christmas sale.
Absolutely. It happens every single time. It happened on Mobix. It happened on all the other reviews and all the other ASTI we did. It went up and up, and it's a bit like an earnings call. It rallies to the earnings call. This was the event. As you heard Jay say, this was an event. It rallied and the price went up and up and up. People then heard from Jay. They loved it. It's not a bad thing to trim off, to buy back. We've often seen that happen. So yeah, it was no surprise that it kept rallying right up to the interview. And as we came to the end, it trimmed off. And I wouldn't be surprised if it starts picking up once again. And it's in fact, right now, it's showing some support where it is right now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm already up. I bought it and it started going up. I said, whoa!
Fantastic. I love it. Thank you ever so much for calling in, Vanessa. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and to the Lucasades.
I love it. Thank you. Absolutely brilliant. There's Vanessa on the phone line. Absolutely awesome. We love it. Okay. Well, as you can see, the overall portfolio is up again today. I was up 4 o'clock this morning buying the S&P. Santa Rally is still in full swing just because it had a rebalance. There's nothing wrong with that. A bit like GRRR right now. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed it. We were members only for the for like 50% of the event, and then right at the end, end, we switched to general public mode now so they can all watch the replay. But at the beginning, it was members only. I hope you all enjoyed it. That's it from me. So I'm going to end this show. I've got a couple of videos coming out this morning. Look out for those. Also a Robinhood announcement as well. There's no closing bell this afternoon because there is no closing bell. Well, there is a closing bell. That's silly to say. It's an early close. So I'm going to end now so I can get some videos out really quickly before the bell goes. And also a Robinhood announcement as well. Can you see this at the top of the screen? There it is, 10 hours, 5 minutes and 2 seconds. There is a New Year's reward. What is going on here? Well, Robinhood at midnight are giving away a reward. So I'm trying to do an event where you will see what I get, all go live at the same time, and we'll all see. Because if you don't tune in and watch live a New Year's celebration, you won't know what everybody else gets. You'll go, well, I got $5 or I won a share of Tesla or whatever you win, you'll be thinking, well, what did everybody else get? Well, the only way to find out is tune in live and you'll find out. So there you go. You'll be able to find out when that clock reaches 0. I've got a video coming out about it. Hopefully you can tune in with that. All right. But that's it from me. So hopefully see you later for New Year. If not, we'll be back on Thursday. No show tomorrow being New Year's Day. Hopefully you'll tune in with me later for New Year special, and I will be back, of course, on Thursday for the opening bell. That's it from me. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. Over here and over here, I shall put more things that you will find useful. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.